Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is George. This is Trading Futures Live, where we trade futures live every day in front of the camera. Thank you guys for joining us. A few quick things. Trading is inherently risky and you can lose all of your initial capital or all of your capital, so please do not take our trades. We're here for educational purposes, for you guys to learn. So with that, let's start to get into it. It is day 12 for us, May 17th. In the news today, we had core retail sales month over month that came out a little while ago, and it was positive, but the retail sales was negative, so kind of mixed news there. That's really the major news on the week, but we do have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 2 p.m., so I would actually expect the markets to be kind of sideways and choppy, waiting for him to speak, although he's just speaking at some sort of Wall Street Journal festival. So not a real official type of engagement, but still, when he speaks, we need to be paying attention. And then later on in the week, again, today's the biggest news day of the week. We've got yellow folders all of tomorrow and a few orange ones later in the week, but that's the major news today. If we look at the charts, overnight everything is up. We have the equities, or the four charts here to the left. All equities are above yesterday's close, the black dotted line. They're quite up. If I go check the CNBC US futures markets, pre-market, we've got the S&P up 1.5%, Nasdaq 1.93, Dow 1.28, so everything's up over 1%, and the Nasdaq is up nearly 2% in the overnight. Oil is up at $1.14. That's gonna be no fun. I filled up at Costco yesterday for $4.33 a gallon, which is quite ridiculous. The VIX has been dropping with that increase overnight. It's below yesterday's open, which makes sense, but Franco and I were talking that yesterday the VIX came basically straight down. Let's shrink this a little bit. That's all of yesterday, straight down, and the markets did not go up yesterday. They made their move in the overnight. We have gold well above yesterday's close. Crude is actually sitting at yesterday's close right about for now, and the dollar has been dropping in the overnight. So today we're also going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to look at my charts today, which I don't actually have set up on this computer, so you guys can also learn a little bit about the NinjaTrader platform while I set up some of these charts. We have the open in another 4 minutes. But I don't trade right at the open regardless. We're going to be quite patient today, wait for some moves, and then I trade the reactions off of those moves. So we will wait for that, and I'm going to set up my charts in the meantime. This is a blank chart on the 2-minute on the ES. I like to trade the 2-minute charts as my lowest time frame, mostly for execution. And then I have a bunch of other time frames that I look at as well. But on this 2-minute chart, I like to add volume. So we're going to add volume. We are going to add the MACD that I sometimes look at. We'll thank Gocho for that.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you know that I heard Gocho was a fraud?
Oh really? Yeah, that sounds about right. He was getting too crazy in the end.
He deleted all. I think he got sued somehow.
And he deleted everything?
Yeah. Well, try to find him.
Yeah,
he never showed up in my feed anymore.
I haven't looked for him in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. That's not bueno.
That might be why Luigi opened up his own
shop.
Yeah.
Great guy, Liz.
And I like the ATR. So I'm going to add the ATR as well. The ATR, I actually do the 10 periods and I add it to the same panel as the MACD, but we're going to switch these up. So panel 2, and then the MACD we're going to put on panel 2, and the volume we're going to move it to panel 3. There we go. So you'll see the volume spike at 8:30, which was when the news came out. I like to add a couple of EMAs just to have them on there. Nah, we're not going to add it today. Alright, so for the moment we're going to wait for the open. Can go through my trades from yesterday actually. In the meantime, I had not a terrible day, but not a good day either. I took a loss, and then we are open. So in yesterday's trading session, I was short here. We had the open here at 9:30. It popped up, it broke down, it retested that low there, and I got in short. I took T1 there, but then I got stopped out on my trailing there. Then unfortunately I was long here and got stopped out. I was long on this pullback after it broke out above the opening range high, and I got in on the pullback, but it went straight down from there, and I got stopped out. And then my best trade on the day was this long here after it did this pullback, made a low retesting these lows, and when it made this other low, I got in long, and on this buying candle right there, I got in long when that candle closed, took a little heat there, went straight up, took T1 there, held on. I didn't move my stop, I left it behind this base rally right here, so I endured all this heat, which I was fine with. Then I took T2 way up here, and I had a third contract on that my target was way up there at a naked volume node, way up there, and I thought I was going to run the rest of the afternoon, but here at about 2:30 the market reversed and I got stopped out here back at break even. So I was basically up half an hour on the day, so it wasn't a bad day. Thought I was going to end up having a pretty good day as this started to continue to climb up and the VIX was dropping, so there really wasn't necessarily an indication that I thought it was going to completely reverse like this the rest of the afternoon. And when it got back, I closed it out. So it was already 4 o'clock, 4:10 there, and then it was just this little crap until 5 o'clock. So that was my trading day yesterday. Let's see what the market's doing so far. Breaking down. Let's see if it breaks this level here. And we're going to mark off, this is the overnight high right there, as well as, really, I'm going to be interested if it breaks this level here. So for the moment, we're going to see Let's get rid of this line. Like to see it break out of this range to begin with. In the meantime, the algos just got long NQ after that pullback. And so today we're going to be quite patient. This is the ES. We're going to look at the NQ, which, like I said before, I need to set up my charts, so I do not have the NQ set up yet. I'm actually going to close this window. I'm going to make a duplicate of this micro ES window, and we're just going to change all of these to the MNQ. I trade micros. Franco does like the minis, but I like to take multiple contracts on the micros and then scale out. And again, this isn't my normal computer that I trade from, so bear with me while I set up my charts.
Order filled.
And that's just an additional long on the algos. Oh, and I need to add one more chart here. Duplicate. I'd like to see the daily as well. I'm going to go back at least 1,000 days. And you know what? Since we're going to take it slow today, we're actually going to take a look at the weekly chart in a little bit as well. So I'm going to add that on there. And we're going to take a look at that as far. We're going to go 10,000 days, but on the weekly, we're actually going to have to take a look at the ES because the micro didn't exist until 2019, so the chart doesn't go back any further than that. So on the weekly, let's take a look at the ES. And we'll go back quite a bit on that one. While that loads, let's see what we got going on here. Got decent volume, I believe, this morning, but the market's still not going anywhere. Bunch of little sideways chop so far. Hasn't really broken out of any major ranges yet. Let's mark this out on the NQ for now. It's a lot higher than yesterday. Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know. And then I'm going to mark off this overnight high there as well. So really like to kind of see it break out of these ranges, although in the overnight, let's go to let's look at this 30-minute chart. I don't know why the previous day's lines aren't showing up. Let's adjust here a little bit. Again, guys, sorry for the delay. Let's make this
It's a little higher, it's not spectacularly higher.
There we go. These vertical blue lines are the session lines. So we closed and we're above yesterday. So I'm most likely bullish on the day. Let's go to a higher time frame. We're up here in this level though, unfortunately. That we'd like to see a breakout of. We don't want to see a false breakout of the overnight here and get stuck with all of this supply and resistance. It's quite a level of resistance. It was support here, nice little tradable reaction there, broke through, resistance. Our old support becomes new resistance, and it's been holding, let's see, 1, 2, 3, nearly 4 times.
All of them are dropping, but like the ES and the YM are dropping hard compared to NQ and RTY.
There we go. Now we'll get these lines on all of these charts. Let's go back to this 2-minute. Let's get rid of these for the moment. Let's see what the weekly's been telling us. We have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down weeks in a row. That's only happened 4 times in the last ever, basically, for the ES. So it'll be interesting to see what it does today, or sorry, this week, because I believe if we have a 7th week down, it'll be the first time ever that we've had 7 down weeks in a row. The weekly range last week was quite a large weekly range as well, so and it's been large weekly range on the whole drop. So it'll be an interesting week on the daily charts. We've started to break a few levels, but again, we need to clear this blue line, and then we actually have room to run up quite a bit, not much in the way. It'll be interesting to see if the market thinks that this is the low. Now, a few things I'm looking to do. Right, I have this line up here. This is my range right now. If it gets up somewhere in this, somewhere in this level up here, and it starts to show weakness, gives me a signal that it wants to go down, I will be short. So let's draw that out. Control F2. So that'll be one of my trades here. If it comes up here and shows weakness, gives me a nice leg out down and comes and retests this area, that'll be a trade for me. If it breaks through this level, I'd like to see a retest. If it breaks through, comes back and gives me a retest, then I would like to be long here. And so right now that's my game plan. On the 5-minute, I'm going to add volume profile. few adjustments to some of these settings. Let us know if you guys are interested in any of these settings. If you guys use Ninja or don't use Ninja. I'd like to extend these out. We're going to make them dots and we're going to make them bright yellow. So this is the volume profile on the 5-minute, and you'll see that we're sitting here just inside of volume. We're above the high volume node here in the middle, but the volume area, high and low, is down here. We're still sitting inside of it. If we break out above, though, if we break out above the volume area, we'd be looking for longs. If we break out below, we'll be looking for shorts. I'm going to add it as well to the 1-hour chart. Order flow volume profile.
My computer crashed.
Profile width, we're going to go 25. We'll drop this down to 20 and drop this one down to 40. And we're going to extend the naked POCs out again as well. We're going to make them yellow, and we're going to make them dots, and we're going to make them visible. Apply, OK. And so you'll see the naked POCs we have are up here at 12,799 on the NQ, and way down here at 11,872. So if we break out above the current volume area, we'll be try to take profits at the highs here of this previous day, and all the way up to probably another target somewhere in this base drop here, and then target 3 would be this naked POC. If we break out to the downside, the same, our final target would be this naked POC, and we'd likely scale out depending on where we got in, maybe at these lows here, and this might be the second target. We'd take third target at the low, at the pivot low. So in the meantime, we're going to be patient. So we didn't really test up here. We are showing weakness there. Was a decent amount of volume in this drop, but let's see what the internals are saying. So the ADD on the ES opened up quite highs. Same with the ADDQ. Let's move this down. Let's stretch this out. We're way up there. That's showing tons of strength, although it's trending down. The VIX is sideways. The tick is up, so I am biased long because of the overnight movement up, breaking above yesterday's high. We'd like to find a way to get in long, and might have been the pullback that it's giving right now as a way to get in long. Continue to watch these internals. The tick opened up very bullish, pulled back to the 0 line, broke through recently, and it's trying to break through on the ES to the downside. The VIX is breaking up. Dollar is going up.
Order filled.
Algos just got out of one of their longs. Took a small loss. We're still in one long. So the internals, for the most part, I'm somewhat mixed, to tell you the truth right now. Gonna need to give it some more time. Let's go back to the ES. So the ES is breaking down. Closed out of the range. Has not closed out of the range on the 5-minute. Let's redraw these lines so they show up on all of our charts. I put new settings. So we've got the overnight high. We've got this opening range and news high from the morning, and then we have that low pivot there. Has not closed below on the 5-minute. It closed here on the 2-minute below that line, but it has not closed on the 5-minute. So we're going to wait for that at the very least. And I need to add the POC information to these charts as well.
Order bills.
Let's see. Alright, 5-minute did close below. And it is now closed. Closed right at the low of this volume area there. If it breaks back in, we'll see if we continue to like the shorts. Need to make sure the internals are telling us that. The VIX, as it continues to break up, it broke these levels. If it goes up, we'd like to look short. The ADDs are trending down right now, which are short, even though these numbers are hugely positive. I look to the ADD more as a trend indicator, so the direction of the trend on the ADD is the direction of the trend that I'd like to take the charts. And the tick is also trending down, so kind of have down signals on everything right now. I did not extend out. Extend naked POCs. I did not make them visible. There we go. All right. Alright, we can continue to see negative pressure. So right now my bias is short. Let's see what the NQ looks like. has not broken out of this range made from the news yet. I'd like to see more cooperation from all the indexes. To the downside, the Dow has broken out. The NQ has not and the Russell has not. But the ES and the Dow have broken down so far. Truly, I'd like to see it pull back a little bit more than that before I get in short. Could take a breakout right now below there. Just don't see enough confirmation from everything. There it goes. Alright, so we've broken out of that level. What I'd like to see now is a retest before we continue to take it down short. Let's see if the NQ is broken down. Still not yet, still hasn't broken this level. And the internals, ADD is dropping. Let's see if on these tick pullbacks it gives us a way to get in. Five minute, that's two closes below that area. Both big selling candles. Let's see if this 5 minute gives us a pullback. It'll be 10 a.m. So this is the last 5 minute in this 10 a.m. candle. Could this be the low before it decides to shoot up and continue with our bias from the morning, which was long? So we are still above yesterday's, the entire range of yesterday's day we've been sitting above. Really, it just came back to retest here. To retest the overnight high on the ES, or the high from yesterday on the ES. So this could now at 10 a.m. This is the indecision of trading. The indecision of trading. Got to pull back on the ticks to the zero line. My charts are definitely all over the place compared to Franco. Like I said from the beginning, I'm not going to rush today. The overnight, if this had broken out long, I would have been in long. But with the bullish pressure in the overnight and now the downward pressure since the open, those mixed signals have me in no hurry to make a trade. This could very obviously be a fake out to the downside to go long, or it could be the beginning of the move down. But until I have confirmation, I will not be getting into anything. We obviously have a ton of room to move down after this move in the overnight with not much volume. I don't mind this zone here. There, this level here. Let's put a box there instead. Excuse me.
Order filled.
Alright, so that 15-minute candle did not close below that range from the news. It's 10 a.m. We're now long 1 ES and 2 NQs on the algos. But we're down so far in the morning. We're long and the market has been short since the open, so we are down in those algos. Like we said in the beginning, guys, we're live traders. We're showing our winners and our losers. We're not here to pretend that we're the greatest traders in the world, or that we win 90% of our trades, or that we make gazillions of dollars. We're here to show you what real day trading is like, and it's a lesson in patience and self-control more than anything else. So we don't have any clear signals, and we are going to be patient and wait. Now what I do like to see is the amount of volume. You see the volume spike right here in this buying candle there after it tested this breakout low. So that is a signal to me that that could be a potential low and an area to go long from. So right now we're gonna draw out that zone, because the internals agree. When it comes back, we might be long from here. Let me change this color. Everything is blue. I like my zones to be nice and magenta. Let's save as default, and let's put that on all charts, and we'll save that as default. Save as default. Yes. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I have this one. Those are also my kind of trades. This volume spike there. Got another volume spike on this push long. So if it comes back to here, let's see what the internals are saying really quickly. Okay, the internals on the ES, this is starting to get bullish. And alright, we're still mostly above the zero line here on the ES, but we're not getting any type of confirmation from the NQ. The NQ has been sitting below the zero line on the tick charts, and we have not seen any type of turnaround. We do have the VIX starting to drop as a bullish signal, but the internals are still very much mixed. If the NQ tick had been sitting up above the 0 line, I'd be putting in an order right now on this ES long right here. I'd have an order sitting there, but not much confluence in the markets right now. This tick is up, this tick is down. This advanced decline is rolling over, and the NQ continues to drop. Now we're starting to get a little rollover on the advanced decline for the NQ. It's already begun to happen here on the ES. This gives me the tick Q gives me a push up. Then I think I'll be looking to get long the ES on the pullback. See how far down it comes. Alright, so right now I'm looking potentially at this trade right here. New 5-minute. This hourly still isn't telling me much. Let's make this the 240. The 240. This 4 hour did close above all of this. Did come right into this resistance area there though. Alright guys, here comes back to my zone. Let's check on these internals. No rollover. I think if we get a close below that line again, we're certainly going to be looking for shorts. We continue to get downward pressure from all of our internals. That's a new low on the tick on both the ES and the NQ. So my bias right now is officially short for the moment.
Order filled.
That's what we're now looking for on the NQ. And on the ES. So let's get rid of these. And I'm going to be looking for this. For it to come retest this zone. And that'll be short. The question becomes, will it be short the NQ or the ES? Let's go look at the internals again. Certainly the internals on the NQ are the weakest. Getting the most decline on the advanced decline line, and we're getting the most amount of time down here spent below the zero line. So I think we're going to be looking to short the NQ right now versus the ES. Where's your zone, Franco?
I have a supply there in 12.484 and 12.453.
484.
Yeah.
That's your low zone?
No, 453 is my first zone.
Oh, okay, 453. Alright, so right around there. Alright, so our bias is definitely short now. My bias is definitely short now. That's what the internals are telling me. They opened up very high, the ADDs, and they're now breaking down. The ticks are at extremes. So right now I'm waiting for a pullback on these ticks, and I will be in short. I do not have anything set up here though. Let's go to 3 contracts. Add. Alright, there's our pullback, guys. How much time do we have left in this candle? "24 seconds left in this pullback, and on the 5-minute, I think we're going to wait for this. 1 minute left in this 5-minute. Like to see it come a little bit deeper in this zone. maybe give me a selling candle and we'll be in short on this, guys. Like to see a little bit more weakness from the ES, making newer lows. It's a higher low right there, but the internals are still short. We're still short on these internals.
I have another 453.
Alright, new 5-minute. Franco has an order at 53, which is right around here. Let's go a little bit higher. So Franco's got an order there. We might be in a little bit before him. We'll see. Still, this ES is... Markets are a little bit out of sync. I would have liked to have seen a new low like this NQ gave us. Let's see what all 4 markets are doing. Well, the Russell gave a new low. The Dow did not.
Yeah, they turned around. Now the Russell and the NQ are the weakest.
Yeah. So that was a tick pull back there. Let's see what this NQ is doing. This might be our entry there. the dog was working. Sorry guys, we've been muted there for a minute.
When?
A few minutes ago the dog was barking.
Oh, okay.
Sorry guys, I had you muted, forgot to put it back on. Thanks for the reminder, Beto.
Oh yeah, Ricardo is saying that we're
Yeah.
muted. Yeah. Well, the zone is still working. But the 7 minute is closing in 1 minute.
Yeah, it's holding there.
Yep.
If the internals, I mean, my bias is still short. The internals are still short.
Yeah.
Quite a few selling candles there. Do like a short breaking that right there.
This is a perfect example of the stomach break even in gold.
Yeah. Now we have the ticks coming down to near extremes. But not really any movement down on the chart. There's no impulse in either direction today.
For the YM.
There we go. YM's finally breaking down.
Walmart's dropping big time.
It was the first one to drop. The YM. To break out of that news range. Let's see if we get a pullback on these tick charts. Still biased to the short side. Still haven't seen any follow through or any momentum really in either direction. And I mean, we're now an hour in and we have no follow through in either direction, which is somewhat rare considering that there's also been no volatility. I feel like on days when it doesn't go anywhere, it's at the very least very volatile. We'll create extreme highs and extreme lows for an opening range. Today we've got nothing of the sort. I mean, we practically have the VIX going down for the last 30 minutes and the charts did not go up. Alright, no extreme lows on the tick.
There you go.
On both charts.
Oh, 6.
Alright guys, I think we will be in short now on a pullback. Let's see what the other time frames are doing. Alright, the 5 just closed. That's the 30 minute. 30 minute closed. Well below. There we go. There we go. 15 closed below. And the 60. We've got room to run for the downside if it if it decides to take off. Do you have a zone anywhere in that recent drop?
You could take 44.50 if you like, but you gotta risk to 68 anyway, and it's tested. For me, it's just waiting to 84, I guess. Unless I do a quick scalp or something like 30, from 36 to...
I like this area here. Let me put that back. 84 for Franco. That's that low. Let me actually just get rid of this. We'll leave that line. But we're going to go...
That's the extreme that you're gonna get. The tick is pretty. The tick and the NQ is pretty weak.
Yeah. I think we're gonna end up risking this 2-minute candle right there. We're going to be in. Yes, disable order confirmation.
Order filled.
All right, guys, we're in this. We're in this short. I'm risking the 5-minute candle here. I believe that's the full no, half of the 5-minute candle. It's the full 2-minute candle from the drop. Had 2 break belows. Got room to the downside. The internals have been short. I don't know if that 2-minute pullback was enough, but we will find out shortly. I want to see what the ES is doing and whether or not I should have taken the ES instead of the NQ. Now they're both fairly similar, so we're going to get much more of a pullback. See if I can endure the pullback. When I have to endure the pullback is when I wish I was in the ES always. The pullback on the NQs are much more volatile than on the ES. Now my invalidation point is this 2-minute candle. If it comes back to retest this area, I'm going to end up being more interested back in the longs at that point. So we had all of this selling pressure in that one candle there, and that is my confirmation there. So let's see, we've got 1 minute left in this 5-minute candle. Let's see if the markets want to continue to drop. Getting quite the push on the tick. Back to the upside. "20 seconds in this 5-minute candle. Let's see if we can get a push. Not very much momentum today, though. I mean, right now the ATR on 2-minute candles is 26, and let's see what it was yesterday at this time. About 29, so we're not far off from the range. There we go. Need a bit more of a push.
Where's your target at?
My first target is 372. That's my T1. That's 1-to-1. 35 points. If it gets to 25 points, it will move the stop a little bit to reduce some of the risk from a 35-point stop to a 25-point stop. And then when it gets within 5 ticks of T1, it will move my stop to break even. If it gets close enough to T1, guys, although I may keep it, I may manually move the stop behind this drop base drop, assuming that this continues to drop. So if it moves my stop to break even, I may want to leave this full zone as my risk. Again, that's assuming it hits T1.
Order filled.
Let's see how those. Alright, so it went 25 points, so that just moved my stop to 25 points behind this drop base drop there. And when it gets to 34 points, basically 1 point away from my target, it'll move the stop again to break even. But if it hits T1, I'm going to move my stop back behind that zone. I don't want it to come back and stop me on break even. If you were here early enough to see my trades from yesterday, leaving my stop behind that zone allowed me to get all the way to T2, which I wouldn't have otherwise. I would have hit T1, it would have come back, stopped me on break even, and then run all the way up to the second target without me. So but as you can see, guys, I mean, that was really my plan. I have it here on the arrows. If it broke out below that area, came back, retested, unfortunately it didn't give me enough signal to get in earlier up here. But when it came back, broke below for the second time and made a new low, that's my trade.
You got it.
Target filled.
Alright, that's T1. I'm going to drag this back like I said though and risk this whole zone. I'm going to risk the 25 points. So let's go 31.50 right there. Now, what do I want to continue to see from the internals? I want to continue to see from the internals the ADD going down. The tick chart is going to do what the tick chart does. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. I don't have an issue with it going up because when it comes back down, it'll give my trade another impulse to the downside. But what I don't want to see is if the tick goes up and it forces the ADD to start to reverse, that's the only time that I'm going to think about adjusting my stop and my trade. But for the moment, the ADD continues to go lower. The VIX is breaking out to the upside. It's at a high for the session. It's not at a high for the day yet, but it is at a high for the session since the open. And we'd love to see the VIX continue to go up and the ADDs to continue to go down. Let's put up my whole chart and let's see where my targets, if we can move my targets to better areas. Right, this is the 1 hour chart. Let's see what we have here on the hourly. Certainly my T3, at the very least, I want it down here near the overnight low. And my T2, let's go to even a higher time frame, honestly. Alright guys, we're gonna let these run. I'm bringing my target 3. Oh, actually, we're gonna bring our target 3 to here. Let's see what we got going on here. It's a 4-hour chart. So we have a support level here that I'll retest it here. So, alright, my stop continues to move. And this, we're really going for the overnight low. So we're going to move it down. Let's go. I like nice round even numbers for targets. We're going to go 67.75. That'll be 40 points. No, it'll be 140 points. We're already at 50 points. This stop though, the stop I'm going to have to move back and let's see, we have that pivot there. Let's go 157.75. 157.75. Obviously, we'll have to make a decision later on about this T3, but for the moment, let's go back to the 2-minute and make an adjustment here. I have my stops trailing, but I'm still going to give it that zone. I still want to let it go that whole zone. This could very easily come back. Stop me off a break even before it continues to go lower. That's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm still, if it comes back and stops me out where my stop is right now, I will be losing money. Because I made money on one contract, but I have 2 contracts left. But I've learned with the algos and all of the back testing that I've done that you need to leave room for your trades. So I'm still... Now if it comes and makes a new pivot somewhere, let's say it comes up and it makes a new pivot here, before it breaks down and makes a new low, then I'll let my stop come down to that pivot. But what I don't want is to get stopped out, break even before it really makes a run for the rest of the morning or day.
VIX is finally breaking to the
yeah, so that's good news for this trade. VIX is set a new high for the day there. ADDs continue to go down. The only thing I would say that I don't like right now is that the tick is at the lows of the day. So when it pulls back, which it always does, I'll have to take a little bit of drawdown on this trade. Trailing drawdown. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Order bill.
374 is going to be an area.
I have an automatic trailing, but nope. Go away. Now with these 3 contracts, I risk $210 at 35 points each contract, which means 2R is $420 that I have to make, and 3R is $620. So we're going to, right, unrealized, I'm up 1.5R right now, but that is of course unrealized. Now that would have been T2 right there, but I moved T2 down to the overnight low. Like I said this morning, there's plenty of room for it to go down. Kind of had this long racetrack here, and this was all low volume stuff in the overnight. So I'm, although this is an area here, this is the POC from yesterday, the point of control from yesterday, which is this pivot here. It did then break right through it, but could act as an area of support right now. So I'm going to have to keep a bit of a closer eye on this. See what the higher time frames are doing. The 30-minute broke down. The 1 hour is breaking down. The 4 hour. The daily's hitting a level there too. What chart is this? Oh, that's the 240. It's the 240. 240 has a like base rally there that it's hitting right now. That's a beautiful doji candle there.
Yeah, we might have.
If I would have seen that, I probably would have taken T2 where it originally was. Why does this chart look different from everything else? Sorry guys, once again, these are my regular charts. Okay, yeah, the overnight low is way down here. We'll see, this base rally is in the overnight, so put a little bit less weight on it. I'm gonna let it ride.
Yeah, that's an area that is expected to create a bounce. Now look at the other two ones.
Let's see. Yeah, we've got some bounces on all of these charts right now. The NQ. It's our guard dog. Our 15-pound guard dog.
10 pounds more.
10-pound guard dog.
Yeah. Jackie, come.
Alright, we got pullbacks on the tick. Back to the 0 line, see if it wants to go any higher on the tick. I do like that the, or is that the right chart? Let's, no, yeah. Let's squeeze this down again. Let's see if we get another push. Now I also want to be vigilant of any volume spikes like this one here on this 2-minute. Gave this doji candle there, did break through, but it's a sign to me that buyers are kind of starting to step in. If that was a larger spike, I would certainly give it more weight. It's not a crazy long spike though, but The spike in volume on the 2-minute is certainly a sign to me that the drop is over. So that'll be another internal that I'm going to be looking at. And we wait. Thank you, Ricardo. Thanks for notifying us that we were on mute. And yeah, I think my entry could have been a little bit better, but not terrible. Not terrible. Didn't have to take too much heat there. The key today was just being patient. We could have gotten in earlier, and but I wasn't very sure yet on the direction. And like Franco and I try and tell ourselves every day, it's not about the how many trades you take, it's about the quality of the trades. Just need 1 or 2 good trades a day. We're still at about 1.5 R in this range that it's starting to create down here. Getting a bit of a pullback now. Let's see how far this wants to go back. Where I struggle with the most is really just my target placement. It's one of my biggest issues. But I think it's something that we all struggle with. You can always have a better exit. Never do you get out at the top. It'll happen every once in a while, but it's rare. You either get back after giving up some profits, or it hits your target and it continues another few are in your favor without you. But again, something I've learned with the algos is let the trend play out, let it run. When we first started working on the algos and back testing and running optimizations in late 2020, or no, like in 2020 at some point,
mid-2020,
the optimizations would tell us that the target needed to be well over 100 points on the NQ, and we looked at each other like, that's crazy. In 2020, I would have never taken a trade that's at 60 points and and let it pull back. I mean, my targets back then were 20 and 30 points. But the algos taught me to hold, to be patient, to let the trade play out. And again, I'm not even at 2R yet, right? And we've also learned that really to be consistently profitable, you need to be taking 2R trades and above. 1-to-1s are difficult. You need to be, for you to truly be consistently profitable with 1-to-1 trades, you need to be winning probably at least 60% of your trades after commissions and slippage and whatnot. So we're gonna let this play out, and this is where a better entry, right? Even up at Franco's original zone, did it ever break your your invalidation point?
No.
Yeah, Frankel was in up here at 53. It came as 1-to-1. He got stopped out break even, but
the entire zone is from 53.50 to 68.
Yeah, if we would have gotten in up there with him, I mean, we would have been a 1, 2, it would be over 3R right now with our 35-point stop. So, that's
It's an 8-to-1 right now.
that's where entries and execution, right? Factors to this. Now we're starting to see some strength. The ADDs are starting to the NQ, the ADDQ is starting to go sideways. The ADD for the ES is starting to go up, and the tick on the ES is at or near a high. The tick Q is still at the very least trending lower. So again, we wait. This hasn't gone far enough. It hasn't created a new pivot for me to move my stop yet. So if it breaks down from here though and creates a new low, then yes, I will likely move my stop to this 1R area here and lock in a solid 1R. But I don't want to rush that process, guys. We have Powell speaking at 2. So I also don't want to be holding on to this trade the whole day, though. And if this is boring, guys, then you're doing something right. Because trading should be boring. Trading shouldn't be exciting. Trading shouldn't get your blood pressure too high or too low. You got to treat the winners like the losers. It's all part of it. You're not going to win them all. And hopefully you're not going to lose them all. So, just got to stay patient and keep this boring. Keep it boring. Keep it simple. Let's check out these internals. We have this ES starting to break up. The NQ still kind of sideways there. I don't like that the tick for the ES has been hanging out above this 0 line for the last 10 minutes or so, though. I'd like to see it come back down. If I'm short, I want to see it hanging out down here. If I'm long, I'd like to see it hanging out up here where it is right now. So, not the best area. And then we have the VIX coming back down. It broke out. We're fortunate that we got in the middle of this green candle. So during this whole run up was the drop that we had. But like this VIX starting to drop again. That's why these markets started to go up slightly. Look at all these buying candles we just got. On the ES, on the Russell, and on the Dow. The NQ is the only one that gave a neutral candle. The rest of them are all buying candles. So.
Oh, Home Depot was up big time, like around 3% or 4%.
Oh, because their earnings were this morning.
-1 right now. Yeah, the up and dumping is fly zone. Yeah, that is what is driving the Dow more. Walmart and Home Depot.
Walmart had earnings also.
Yeah. Not good. It's -9% right now.
Well, too bad those aren't tech firms in my NQ trade. That pullback right there is
Brutal.
back to my 1R level right there of 35 points.
I think 93 can be a good area. Here's the thing. It's turning around.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that this is the low of the session though. So we'll see. That's all we can do is wait. Now I'm not liking the internals as much. The NQ broke out above the 0, pulled back to the 0 and held above. We're getting extreme highs on it right now. And it seems like the ADDs are rolling over.
How about another 93? Let's see what happens. 93.
Let's mark off this 93.
2402.
Let's see what the higher time frames are telling us. This 15-minute chart, and a nice little buying candle there at the beginning of the leg out from the overnight. There we go. I was at 3:30 this morning, so in the London session is when the market broke out. We've got 30-minute close neutral. Sorry about that, guys. We got a very active guard dog today.
Bro, you see 93. Fuck, I had the order there, 5 contracts, they didn't fill me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why one ticked?
No?
It touched it?
Yeah. Not even one. Not even one contract.
So guys, I need to continue on with my plan. I don't like that the ADD has turned around, but really the chart hasn't given me any sort of pivot reason to move my stop yet. And so like I said, I don't want to come get stopped out, break even, and then it drop without me. So I have to live with it. Got to live with it. Ricardo's asking, are we seeing a retest to the NQ on the 12,400? And yeah, Franco has his zone there at 393. It touched his 393 to the tick, but didn't fill in any of his contracts. I mean, truth be told, me personally, I don't want it to go any higher. I'd like to see that be the pivot and go down from there, but once again, the tick is hanging out above the zero line, went all the way up to the positive 600, came back, just touched the zero line, and is hanging out above zero. The tick on the ES is for sure hanging out above the zero. I mean, all the market internals right now are saying long. So if you're not in this, you don't want to be in this. You don't want to be looking to get short right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, look at the RTY. But RTY is going much higher, but...
Oh yeah, RTY is starting to break out to the ups. Well, not breaking out to the upside, but no. It's the strongest.
Yeah. Definitely.
What I do like on these other charts, like on the ES, is the pullback has not broken the previous high of the 30-minute candle. The only one that's done that is the Russell. But the Dow has held, the NQ has held, and the ES has held. Unfortunately, the ADDs though. And remember guys, the bias this morning was long, right? The internals since the open pointed to a short, but the internals in the overnight before the open were all long. So could this potentially have just been the pullback to continue to go long? Absolutely. Right, and for the most part, that's what the internals are telling us right now. that's the trade I took, and that's the trade I need to live with right now.
This market is weak. Got a trade coming up tomorrow though.
See how this 5-minute candle closes. I do like that doji that closed previously. I should just.
I'm in this thing.
I should just not talk. I filled you there.
Yeah. I'm in this thing short. Let's see how it goes. That's fine.
Yeah, for me right now, it's how does this 5-minute candle close? But this is the reason I have to keep my stop there. We got a nice 5-minute drop base drop right there. My stop behind that pivot. My stop really needs to be 32.75.
Where's your stop at?
432.75.
That 7-minute is very bullish. The 7-minute pattern is very bullish. Let's see how this goes if I can get into this.
I'm not super convinced on any time frame, to tell you the honest truth, though, that it.
The short?
No, on even the long. I mean,
The 7-minute is good.
like it's pulled back, but it's pulled back. Hasn't really done any retest of that low to say yes, go long. So really, that's what I'm waiting for, is another retest of that low, and hopefully a breakthrough to the downside. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to mute this. So we've been on for a while. I'm going to leave this playing for you guys to keep watching this trade play out. But I'm going to go use the restroom real quick.
need to evaluate my zones.
Alright guys, I'm back. I thought that 5-minute candle when it broke down was going to be the one, but got quite volatile there for a second. After it broke down, shot right back up. Let's see what the volume is on that. Yeah, that had quite the volume spike on it. And like I said, most of these internals are showing longs. The VIX is at the low of the day. Let me pull up the internals. VIX here is back down to the lows. See what it does from there. This is now the ADD on the ADDQ is breaking above this 21 EMA to the upside, as is the ES. And for the most part, aside from this shot down, still holding above the zero line.
I don't have any other supply that conveys me.
Yeah.
I have.
I was hoping this was going to break down and at least close down here before it shot back up, because then I was going to move my stop. So I was really hoping for this 5-minute, this one that shot up, to close below here, confirming this is a pivot to move my stop down and at least lock in some more, lock in something. But again, right, like I said earlier, I don't want it to come back, stop me out, break even. Although this slow grind up is the kind of one that I don't like. The slow grind makes me think that I should have potentially moved my stop earlier. What I didn't want was a quick 1-2 candles up into there before it shot down. The volatility to just stop me out, break even. This slow grind up is just that, a slow grind up. I don't know if this level is going to hold, or if it needs to actually come higher. Or again, if this is the low of the day, nobody ever knows. Nobody ever knows. So if we get stopped out here, that'll be minus like 0.3 R, not even a half R. Maybe even less than that. It'll be minus $30. I was up as much as $350 in this trade. Risking 210. Gonna end up minus about $30 or $40 though. Not a bad trade though. I did get a little greedy with my targets because it did get to my original second target, but I moved it down lower thinking that it had more room to run. This isn't really giving much of a pullback to the downside, unfortunately.
I remember the way it dropped. It was so hard that it created a racer. That's one thing that we need to be careful of. Now on the way down, now it created some demands.
Now, unfortunately, I think it's going to come all the way back up to this POC.
Where is that?
460. And the VIX, after shooting and creating a high on the day, is now at the low of the day. In less than 30 minutes. Breaking down below 2650. Unfortunately for me, just the price action on the chart, all the internals have been saying long for the last 30 minutes, but the price action on the chart never even gave a pullback or anything to say, okay, a double bottom, let's go long.
Stop fill.
Break even.
Minus $30.50. Alright guys, that's my one trade for today. I might take something in the afternoon if it presents itself with the news. Remember, we have Powell speaking at 2 p.m. So especially as that gets closer, trade cautiously. And we will catch you back here tomorrow. Have a good one.
Later.